Oh man, dude, the Eastern Conference is going to be an absolute bloodbath. With all the trades that have been taking place the past few days, the Eastern Conference has gotten so much stronger. Ryan O'Reilly, Vladimir Tarasenko, Bo Horvat, Timo Meier, all getting sent over to Eastern Conference teams, and it gets even crazier with this move right here as well. The Toronto Maple Leafs have acquired Jake McCabe, Sam Lafferty, a conditional 5th in 2024, and a conditional 5th in 2025 from the Blackhawks in exchange for a conditional 2025 first, a 2026 second, Joey Anderson, and Pavel Gogolev. This is a huge trade. It's an all-in trade right here. The Maple Leafs are getting Jake McCabe at 50% retained and Sam Lafferty in exchange for a bunch of picks. And Joey Anderson and Gogolev, there are some other picks thrown in there too, but wowzers. Talk about a big trade for a team that is desperate to make a move and respond to that Tampa Bay deal we had seen yesterday. Jake McCabe and Sam Lafferty are two of the Chicago Blackhawks players that a lot of people were speculating were going to get traded sooner rather than later, and Toronto nabs them both, alongside of that Ryan O'Reilly they had ended up getting a few days ago too. Here's Sarah Bailey making a tweet about this deal, connecting the dots on the Leafs cap after the McCabe and Lafferty trade. Either Toronto is not planning to activate Matt Murray until the playoffs, or Toronto is moving one of Kerfoot, Engvall, or Hall before the deadline. Seems to be some smoke recently with Kerfoot and the Canucks. Now, we'll make another video about that if and when that inevitably happens, because Kerfoot has been linked to Vancouver since the beginning of time, but there are some salary cap ramifications that will need to take place in order for this deal to be properly executed and dealt with. There are some other things that might need to go down over the next little while here to make sure that the money works and everything, but we'll get there when we get there, as one lovely individual in a red suit once said. This is also what Pierre LeBrun said. Kyle Dubas has left no doubt about being all in. McCabe and Lafferty added after the Ryan O'Reilly, Noel Ashari additions. There's no tomorrow for the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's all about these playoffs. A day after the Tampa Jeannot acquisition to boot. Now, let's go over the profiles of each of these assets right here. Jake McCabe, not the older McCabe that was on Toronto before, but he is a McCabe nonetheless. 29 years old, 6'1", 205 as a left-handed defenseman, making $4 million a season, cut in half, so $2 million a season until the end of 2025. Now, the thing with Jake McCabe is that even though his numbers have been pretty great, like 20 points in 55 games played on the Chicago Blackhawks of all teams, the thing that really stands out about McCabe, and that has stood out ever since he was a Buffalo Sabre, is that Jake McCabe has always been an astounding defensive defenseman. He gets points, yes, but he's always had some of the best advanced numbers in the NHL, especially in this shortened season 2020-2021 where he only played 13 games. Now, he had 3 points in that season, but I remember his metrics in this year were so astronomically crazy that a lot of people were sort of saying, wait a minute, Jake McCabe is sort of like this underrated unicorn of a talent that just didn't play a lot of games, but had some crazy good advanced analytics despite that fact. So if he's really able to carry over that profile into a Toronto Maple Leafs team that could use that depth, then hey, you get yourselves a really good defensive defenseman that could also produce points if you're Kyle Dubas. Not to mention the fact that Sam Lafferty is in here too, 27 years old forward. He's 6'1", 194 pounds, signed till the end of 2024, making 1.15 AAV, and Sam Lafferty this season has 21 points in 51 games played. This is a very great acquisition for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Both these guys, McCabe and Lafferty, are going to add tremendous depth to their playoff roster, and this is adding on to the Eastern Conference becoming more and more stacked. Now, going the other way, of course, you have yourselves the draft picks. 2025 first, conditional, 2026 second pick as well, and Joey Anderson as well as Pavel Gogolev. Now, Anderson had been acquired by the Maple Leafs a few years ago, and I believe it was the... Do I want to say the Andreas Janssen trade? No. Is that correct? I'm not too sure. It was one trade or the other. I think it might have been a minor deal, actually. Let's go over to Elite Prospects and take a look at this. New Jersey to Toronto. What was the trade? Joey Anderson from New Jersey in exchange for Andreas Janssen. There you go. I was right on the money there. So Joey Anderson has been a Toronto Maple Leaf in their system for a while now. He had bounced up and down with the Marlies and the Maple Leafs, playing a few games as a call-up option, but he is essentially an AHL caliber forward. If the Blackhawks want to try and expand on the talent set this guy has, he's only 24 years old, so there is some room for him to grow and develop past this season where he signed till the end of the year, making $750,000. You also have yourselves Pavel Gogolev, prospect playing in the ECHL, who was really good in the ECHL, but who had really a few struggles, to be honest, putting it together at the AHL level. So we'll see if Pavel Gogolev is able to continue and prosper as his career goes on. He's 23 years old, so the clock is sort of ticking for this player. But at the end of the day, this trade really is all about the picks. The first-round pick in 2025 conditional, the second-round pick in 2026 going over to Chicago. Let's talk about the conditions here. Is that written out here? All right, so the conditional first-round selection in 2025 is top 10 protected. There you go. If the 2025 Toronto Maple Leafs have themselves a first-round pick that is in the top 10, I'll assume it's going to slide over to 2026 or whatever. It's not written in this article, but that's probably the safe assumption to make. But if the Toronto Maple Leafs are pretty good in 2025 and their first-round pick is outside the top 10, then hey, Chicago's going to get it. It's interesting, though, making trades for drafts that are 2 years out, but at the end of the day, I guess Toronto really doesn't care about too many of their draft picks anymore, which is sort of why they're making this move, because look, you got so many things to do in the short term. You've got so many teams to beat in the first round in the short term. You've got Tampa Bay to be going up against. Tampa Bay or Boston, most likely Tampa Bay, but this is a trade that goes out there and helps you in that quest. And I'm going to say quest because the Maple Leafs have really been prepping themselves and bulking themselves up to try and fight the good fight against this Tampa Bay team. Ryan O'Reilly, Noel Ashari, Jake McCabe, Sam Lafferty, and Tampa Bay, on the other hand, has added that Tanner Jeannot contract as well for that incredible haul of a package that we had talked about yesterday. The playoffs are going to be fun, and I can't wait to see whatever team in the East, started on my words there, was doing so well for a one-take commentary too. My goodness. But I'm waiting for that well-rested team in the West to take on whatever team survives that war that is going to be the Eastern Conference and just sweep themselves through. But obviously, knock on wood, that doesn't end up happening. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this Toronto Maple Leafs trade with the Chicago Blackhawks. Jake McCabe, Sam Lafferty, conditional 5th-round pick in 2024 and a conditional 5th-round pick in 2025 in exchange for a conditional first from Toronto in 2025, Toronto's second in 2026, Joey Anderson, Pavel Gogolev. I'd been stumbling on my words a little bit here towards the end because it's been a long video. 8 minutes already now, hasn't it? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this British Rolls 99. And bye.